Welcome. My name is Dr. Brianne Grogan. I'm a physical therapist and I specialize in holistic pelvic health. And I'm here to share with you today my personal flat belly routine for perimenopause and age-related changes. This is awesome for flat abs, a strong back, mobile joints, a healthy pelvic floor, and it's truly my perimenopause workout. So it's not appropriate for everyone, so you can definitely modify if needed. There will be some options available that I'll share with you, but you may actually find it easier if you're just getting started with me to do this beginner core workout that I've already recorded. So if you feel like you're more of a beginner, then definitely check the links for this beginner workout. But if you want to join me for my personal flat belly routine for perimenopause and menopause-related changes, then let's go ahead and get started right now. Remember to stop or modify if you ever feel any type of pain or discomfort. We're beginning with breathing, and there was a chair there to show you that you can always do this seated in a chair if you prefer not to be on the ground. But I want you to think about breathing and inhaling, expanding all around your core and your ribs, and then exhaling, feeling the pelvic floor lift and the low belly pull in. So let's just do a couple more of these breaths, one or two more. How about two more? And you're going to inhale all the way around and exhale, lift your pelvic floor, pull your low belly in and up. Breathing is an exercise in itself, so do not skip breath work. Inhale, expand all around in your ribs, your belly, and then exhale, lift your pelvic floor, feel the low belly and the ribs draw inward. All right, now that you're active through that core, I want you to just release, let everything go, and then we're going to prepare for our first move. I want you to definitely at this point zip up that core, so exhale all your air out, engage, lift your pelvic floor, pull in your low belly, and now keep that activation. So you're going to breathe higher into your chest, but you're going to keep that core strong. With a long, tall posture, you're going to mimic my movement here, straightening one leg at a time. Feel your spine long and tall. Feel your knees staying close together. Don't let them splay apart. And you are breathing steadily, keeping your core strong and lifted, your spine long as you straighten your legs. Now, this is an advanced option, extending both legs at the same time. This is called mermaid, and I want you to really feel that you're keeping those knees close together. You're keeping your spine long and your heart lifted. Your core is strong, and you are breathing. If you feel any downward pressure on your pelvic floor, or if you feel any doming in your abs, you need to stop. Now, take a little moment to take a rest and get ready for a little diagonal oblique mermaid. So notice how the knees are still close together, but I'm tipped onto my right hip. So tip over onto your right hip, and then again, straightening the legs and bending them. You are breathing steadily, core is strong, and you're doing about 8 reps total. So we just have another one. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So switch, tip onto your left hip. And again, 8 times you're straightening and bending the knees. Your heels are lifting toward your butt. So lift those heels, keeping them off the floor. Lifting those heels, keeping them off the floor and pulling them toward your buttocks. Keeping your abs strong, your core strong and lifted, and breathing. And nice job. Shake it all out. Relax. Sit up tall. We're moving into a butterfly stretch. Just stretching everything out. The key here is you're sitting up on your sitting bones. Just flap those knees gently, gently. Tall spine. This is so great for hip mobility. Mobility of our joints is something that we, lose as we age. If we don't use it, we lose it. So keep the joints mobile. Swirl your heart. Move the upper back. Feel that release in your back and your hips. Now coming onto your elbows, we're going to move into an exercise that fires up your whole core. Lift your heart toward the ceiling. And every time you bring your knees together, I want you to feel your center line light up. So your inner thighs, your pelvic floor, your abs light up. And then release. So zipping up your core, pelvic floor lifts, low abs pull in. Everything is lit up as you bring those knees together. Feel your center line light up as you exhale and bring the knees together. So strong, so active as you exhale and bring those knees together. Your core should really be feeling it. Now with an exhale, come back up onto your fingertips, lifted through the heart, lifted through the right arm, and then bring that right arm and wrap it around so you're looking over your left shoulder. This is a deep, deep twist, and twists are so good for that bloating and any digestive issues that we may experience as we get older. Every time you inhale, you lift tall. Every time you exhale, you twist a little bit deeper. So looking a little bit more over your left shoulder. Breathing and really feeling that you're wringing out your organs every time you breathe. Now look to the middle. And just arch and round your back a few times, and we're going to go to the other side. So left arm lifts, you sit up tall, and then exhale, look over your right shoulder. It's just a seated twist, really gentle way to stimulate digestion, reduce bloating. And I want you to think as you're doing this routine that you're not doing this to get a flat belly. You're doing it to feel amazing. You're doing it to feel strong. You're doing it to keep your mobility, your strength, your pelvic floor strength, and to just feel happy. This workout always makes me feel happy. So keep twisting and breathing. And now look your head to the center and arch and round your back a few times. Just breathe with this and really feel the deliciousness of moving in your spine, supporting behind your thighs so you're not putting a lot of pressure on your back, always supporting yourself. So notice my hands are still behind my thighs, and now I'm lifted through my spine, straight spine, heart lifted, core is strong. You're gonna 5 times total straighten your left leg. So 2 more times, straightening that left leg, feeling your quadriceps muscles working. Now keep it on the next time, straighten it again and keep that leg straight. You're going to bend it or you're going to straighten it right away. I'll show you the bent version here. I'm holding on to the outside of my foot. My right arm is holding on to the outside of my left foot, and I'm twisting. So left hand is behind me. I'm twisting, knee is bent, or you can straighten it as I'm about to show. So see how this straightening happens. But if your back rounds and you find yourself hunching, then do not straighten your leg. I want you to keep it bent if your back is rounding. So just make sure that your back is not rounded or hunched. You're tall and lifted as you twist, looking over your left shoulder and breathing. Twisting and breathing. Now look forward, release that leg, and again, round and arch your spine, circle your spine, and supporting yourself with your hands on your thighs or your legs or your knees. Now, you're gonna again sit up nice and tall, heart is lifted, spine is long, abs are pulled in, and straighten that right leg 5 times. Breathing, feeling your thigh muscles working on that right side. Your core is strong and lifted, pelvic floor is lifted, low abs are pulled in. Breathing, feel as if someone's pulling the crown of your head diagonally toward the back of the room. Now, leave that right leg up. You are going to reach around with your left hand to the outside of that right foot and keep the knee bent as I'm shown here as you twist, looking over your right shoulder. Or if you have the flexibility, you can straighten that leg as I'll show in a second here. Just make sure you're breathing and straighten that leg if you can, keeping the knees together, the legs close together. If your back rounds or hunches at all, if your tailbone tucks under, then it's not okay for you to straighten. You don't have the flexibility quite yet. You need to work up to it, and that's okay. Every day is different. And so just listen to your body. If you need to bend that knee, it's totally okay. Just be wherever you are today. It's perfect. Keep breathing. Keep the spine lifted. You're sitting on your sitting bones. And then come back to the middle. Again, arching and rounding your back just a couple of times, keeping those joints so loose, so mobile. And now hold on behind your thighs. And with support, holding on underneath your thighs, you're going to round down, Hollow out your belly and then lift up, round down, pull your belly in as you round down and then all the way to the floor. Now, come to a nice lying down position. Your arms are going to go out to the sides in a T shape. And we're going to do some twists to work our obliques. Now, I want you to begin by finding a nice neutral spine. So you're not arched and you're not pressed into the floor with your pelvis. You're just neutral. Bring one leg up and then the other. And strong core, you twist and tip your knees to the right and then to the middle, to the left, and to the middle. Now the key here is that your core is strong, pelvic floor lifted, low abs pulled in, and you're breathing the whole time. So even though you're pulled in and lifted through the core, you're zipped up through the core, pelvic floor lifted, low abs pulled in, you're not holding your breath. So keep breathing. I like to exhale as I bring my knees up and exhale as I bring my knees up, but just make sure however you breathe that you're breathing. Don't hold your breath. Keep going. You don't have to tip your knees all the way to the floor. Just an inch is fine. If that's all you can go today, that's just fine. Great. Now straighten and bend those legs a few times, just stretching out the hamstrings, the back of the legs. And you're going to bring your arms up and overhead and try to touch the hands toward the shins by bringing and gently lifting your butt up off the floor as you exhale. So exhale as you lift the butt. Pull in the low belly as you lift your butt. It's a little reverse crunch. Exhaling and pulling in that low belly. Just waking up those low abs. Now arms in a T again. Bring both legs all the way to the left. If you can't touch the floor, you can put a block under your bottom knee. Now you're going to straighten out the top leg, and you can't really see it here in the screen, but the top leg is straight and the bottom leg is bent. As I exhale and lift the leg, the straight leg up, I clap my hands together. This is moving everything throughout the whole body. The whole body is connected through fascia. So this is really stretching and moving everything. Just make sure you're staying engaged through the core. Your obliques are working. All of your core muscles are working. Your chest and pec muscles are working. And you are breathing, exhaling as you clap. Now pull that knee in toward your chest and you're just gonna rock side to side, opening your legs like a book and closing like a book. Open like a book and close like a book. Great for hip mobility, great for releasing your pelvic floor and massaging your low back. So keep going, massaging that low back, relaxing all of your muscles. That was not a time for tensing up, but we're about to prepare to go into the other side of that same exercise. So both legs drop to the right. Put a yoga block under your bottom knee if needed. Arms are out like a T shape. Straighten out your top leg. You're going to straighten out that top leg. And then as you exhale, lift the top leg and clap your hands together. This takes a lot of control, a lot of flexibility, and a lot of strength. So if this is hard for you at first, don't worry about it. Just keep practicing. You are trying to open your arms as your leg goes down and then close your arms together as your leg comes up. A lot of twisting, a lot of core work. Keep your core pulled in. Pelvic floor is lifted and strong. Low abs are pulled in and strong. And you are exhaling every time you clap your hands together. Good job. So bring that knee in toward your chest, and then you can just rock a little bit again. Maybe bring the knees up, swirl them around. I call this stirring the pot. Just have fun with that. It should feel really nice. Now, scooting to the center of the yoga mat and getting ready for some bridge moves. This is a great one for your whole lymphatic system. Really great for lymph flow, circulation of all of your lymph system, and of course strengthening all of your butt muscles, your hamstrings. So lift your arms overhead as you lift your butt. Your arms are lifting as you lift your butt. You are breathing steadily. Lift the arms, lift the butt. keeping the knees close together. Try not to let them splay apart. You're going to pulse. So point those kneecaps like you're drawing your kneecaps toward the front of the room and you're pulsing, lifting your hips. Now circle your hips 4 times each direction. Make sure you go the other way now, circling your hips, trying to keep your knees generally close-ish together. Try not to let them splay apart too much as you circle your hips and then roll your spine down. Totally relax. Take a minute to bring those knees up toward your chest. Don't hold on to anything for just a breath or two. Totally relax and let go. Now, you're going to keep your head on the floor, hold on behind your thigh, and we're going to do some single leg switches. So you're going to pull that leg in toward your chest and then switch. So it's a pull, pull, and a switch. Pull, pull. Keeping your low abs drawn in the whole time, your pelvic floor is lifted and you are breathing. This is a great exercise for flexibility and strength. Really feel your low abs working as you pull, pull, and switch. My head is down on the floor. Keep your head and shoulders on the floor for right now. Now, if you wanted to try a little bit more, you could go a little higher on your calf and exhale all your air out. Really pull your low belly in and lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Same thing, but now your head and shoulders are lifted off the floor. I'm breathing. My low belly is pulled in. It's not pooching up. Pelvic floor is lifted. If you feel any doming or tenting or pooching in your low belly or any downward pressure in your pelvic floor, then don't do this. Go back to having your head on the ground, your head and shoulders. It's so important to listen to your body and to not push yourself past the point where you are right now. You know, push yourself, but if you push yourself to the point of symptoms, don't push through. When you feel symptoms, it's a signal from your body that you need to modify or stop. So speaking of stopping, it's now time for our first rest break. This is a deep relaxation rest break. I really want you to take advantage of this. Totally relax and let go. Maturity is wisdom. We know that the most important thing is actually to let our bodies recover before we go on with the rest of the workout. Rather than just pushing through like maybe we did when we were younger, we need to give our bodies a chance to totally relax, muscles to soften away from the bone, breathing to deepen and soften. So just a little bit longer, another couple of breaths in this nice, relaxed position. Breathing. And now bring your right leg up, left leg stays long. Right leg is bent, left leg stays long. Your right arm is back behind you and you're going to bring your right arm toward the outside of the left leg. Exhale and pull your low belly in. Use your low abs to make this movement happen. Now you're not lifting your head and your shoulders right now. It's just arm to leg. Use those abs. Exhale every time you lift the arm, opposite arm toward leg. Pulling in that low belly. Now, we are going to try lifting the head and shoulders with an oblique crunch. As we bend that opposite knee toward opposite elbow, make sure you're lifting your pelvic floor and pulling in that low belly every time you crunch. It's like you're folding like an origami fold. You're not just rounding, you're actually folding as you bring the elbow toward the opposite knee. Breathing out and switching sides. So we're going to start with that straight leg one with our head and shoulders on the ground. Pull in that low belly, use your core, use your low abs. Pelvic floor is lifted and you're exhaling every time you bring opposite hand to the outside of the other leg. Again, head and shoulders stay on the ground. Opposite arm to the outside of the leg. Use your core. Don't let it pooch or tent or dome. Now we're going to do that bicycle oblique crunch where you do lift off the floor with your head and shoulder, elbow to knee. But I want you to think of folding like an origami. piece. You're not just hunching and rounding and lifting your head. You're actually folding from your waist, pulling in your low belly, lifting your pelvic floor every time you crunch. And calling it done. Nice. Great job. That was some great oblique work. So now pull in one leg at a time, really making sure your pelvic floor and your low abs are pulled in. We're going to move into a bunch of reverse crunches. So exhale and use your low abs, not momentum. Do not just swing your legs. You want to use your low abs and your pelvic floor to lift your butt up off the floor, just an inch, just a tiny bit. Now, feet together, knees are apart. Feet together, knees apart. And you're going to keep that position, feet together, knees apart, as you do more of this reverse curl. Really make sure your pelvic floor is engaged like a Kegel and your low abs are pulled in as you do this. Lift your butt up off the floor just a tiny bit and you are breathing, exhaling. Now bring those knees together. And we're going to go into my favorite move, keep the knees together. This is what I call slalom. Keep the knees and feet together and shift your knees to the right and the left. Your hips are shifting too. So it's like you lift your hips up off the floor and then place them down in kind of a crooked position. So it's like you're hitching your hips to the right and to the left, lifting your hips up off the floor between each rep. So lifting your hips, setting them down. Lifting and setting down, and your knees and hips are shifting each rep of this move. It is so hard. You're going to feel this in your low abs, in your obliques. Keep going. Try not to lift your neck and arch it off the floor. You want to stay your head on the floor the whole time for that last move. I got tired just watching that with you guys. So now swirl out the legs a few times and we're going to go into a wide leg bridge. Heels down, toes up. Heels down, toes up. So wide feet. They're shoulder width apart or wider as you bridge up with your hips. So shoulder width or wider feet, digging your heels into the ground, lifting the hips up each time. Really breathing with this. Do not hold your breath. All right. Now, I want you on your next rep to stay lifted and now press the knees out. So keep the hips up and pulse the knees open and open and open. It's like you're really pressing out. Now keep them pressed out. Keep them pressed out and hold that lift and either rest or do what I'm showing here, which is this crazy move where you feel like your knees are drawing circles and you're kind of pivoting on your heels. Your knees are drawing circles and your hips are going up and down as your knees and your thighs draw circles. If you don't get this the first time, that's okay, but it's a really cool move to try for glute strength, hamstring strength, and hip mobility. Should really feel that in your inner thighs and your hips. All right, nice job. Straighten it out and take another nice relaxation break. Do not skip this part. These relaxation breaks are what give your body a chance, your muscles a chance to recoup and recover and rejuvenate. Your pelvic floor, your hips, your back, your abs, your glutes, everything's been working so hard for this routine. So let yourself take a break. Give yourself that break. So many of us push through life and we're wise enough to know by now that doesn't really get us, it may get us far at first, but then we're just exhausted. So you need to give yourself time to recover, to recuperate. So take some big, relaxing, deep breaths in this position, softening your muscles. And then come onto your side and you're going to come onto your back. So in this position, my elbows are bent under my shoulders, Heart is lifted, spine is long, so don't let your low back sag. You want to be really lifted through your heart as you straighten one leg at a time. So I call this sunbathing goddess. I feel like I'm kind of sunbathing in this pose, and especially as I tip my legs to the side and then straighten the top leg. So tip the legs and straighten the top leg. Tip and straighten the top leg. The whole time in this sunbathing goddess pose, you want to keep your heart lifted, your spine long, and your low abs pulled in. Your pelvic floor is also lifted, so you're zipped up through your core, and you're breathing. So zipped up through your core means that pelvic floor is lifted like a little gentle kegel, and your low abs are pulled in, like you're zipping up skin tight jeans. All right, take a tiny little moment to just take a big belly breath, relax, and then come into a position with your shoulders down away from your ears. You're pressing down into your hands, and on an exhale, lift your butt up off the floor. Reverse tabletop position, hands can be forward, or I like them turned out to the side a little bit. Make sure your shoulders are down away from your ears, and you're gonna pulse your butt up, really squeezing your glutes. This is stretching out the front of the hips, strengthening the glutes, and really working your triceps, the back of your arms. Okay, now we're gonna come onto our sides for some more oblique work. This is a great total core strengthener. So a knee and elbow plank. Make sure your elbow is directly under your shoulder. You're gonna exhale all your air out, strong core, and then lift into a side plank. Holding this side plank, you're now going to pulse up and up, like you're just lifting your hips up a little higher than you think you can, just pulsing them up and breathing. Your core is strong, pelvic floor is lifted, low abs are pulled in. Now hold it, feeling that you're lifting into a bit of an arch. You're lifting, feeling your lower oblique, the side waist, feeling that. Hold it, and then release. Now, do a little side stretch here. So it's like a little mermaid side stretch where you're stretching out that side that was just working. Really just breathe into that side area like you had lungs in your side waist, like you were breathing into your side waist, like it had its own set of lungs. And we're gonna repeat that exact same thing on the other side. So knee and elbow plank. Your elbow is directly under your shoulder. Exhale all your air out, core is strong, and then lift into your side plank. Then we're gonna add those little pulses. So the little pulses are tiny. It's just you're lifting up and up and up, just an inch or two. You can have your hand on your shoulder to make sure that your shoulder doesn't creep up toward your ear. You wanna really be pressing down into that elbow that's on the ground as you lift your hips up. Now hold it. Hold it. You've got this. Strong core, you're really feeling it on the obliques of that bottom side waist. Hold it. Strong core. And now release down and stretch out. Totally release and relax, stretching out that side waist, softening the muscles. Feel as if you had lungs in your side waist, lungs in that side of your body. And I'm just putting my hair up in a little ponytail for our next set of moves. So this is a fast moving workout. You'll get stronger as you get the hang of it, and it'll become easier and easier. We're going to begin with a mobility dolphin plank. So we're gonna move into, if you want to, a dolphin plank. Now, this is just the initial starting phase where we're just getting our mobility going. So you're on your bent elbows and you're shifting back into hips up over your knees. So your hips shift forward and back. You're just shifting and feeling this mobility in your shoulders and your hips. Now, if you want to join me, you're gonna straighten one leg at a time. Core is strong and lifted. You can always drop down onto your knees at any time, but I'm showing you right now the full version. So you're going into a plank and then a dolphin. So breathing with this, inhale and exhale into dolphin. So This is not necessary. You can have your knees bent, or you can just skip this if it's too much. If you ever feel any strain in your back, then either make it a smaller dolphin plank like I'm showing now, where I'm not going down too far into the plank. It's just like a mini going down and then coming into the dolphin. Or you can just rest in child's pose. Now this is the full move right here. A full plank and then dolphin, exhaling back. Now sit back and take a moment to just breathe in this position, hips over knees. It's like a puppy pose. And you'll move into child's pose next. So that dolphin to plank move is really challenging. It's so good for your core, but you have to work up to it. So just know that if you didn't get that right away, it's okay. It's not worth hurting yourself or straining your back by doing too much before you're ready. So come onto your belly. Hands are by your chest and elbows point toward the back of the room. And we're gonna move into some leg lifts. So just lift your legs back behind you, press your pelvis, your pubic bone down into the ground, and activate your low abs as you lift your upper chest off the floor and breathe. So feet are on the ground and you're just lifting your chest and lowering. Now you're gonna lift your right leg up and down, just your right leg, up and down, keeping your chest close to the floor, just the right leg up and down. Now just the left leg up and down. One leg might feel different than the other. That's okay, just notice. It's information, that's all. You might be a little weaker on one side. Now you're gonna bring your hands in front of you, legs stay on the ground, one hand stacks on top of the other, press your pubic bone down into the ground and lift your pubic bone up toward your rib cage. Hold that strong core as you lift your head and your arms up off the ground. This is a lot of work for your upper back. You're lifting the head and the arms up off the floor, and then you're going to switch. So the other hand is on top. Same thing. Strong core. Pubic bone presses down into the ground. Belly is lifted and strong, and you are lifting your upper chest and head off the floor. Just one more time. And then now I want you to lift again, and arms go straight out by the sides, and you're going to do a little iron cross. So you're keeping the chest lifted off the floor, arms go out to the side, and then they press toward your butt. Now hold the arms, hold the legs, and do the same thing, this time with the legs lifted off the floor. So arms out to the side and toward the butt. All of this spinal extension is so good for potentially preventing osteoporosis. If you already have osteoporosis, then you'll need to look into prevention tactics, exercises, and things you can do for your diet and lifestyle to help with osteoporosis. But spinal extension exercises are so good for bone density of the spine and health of the spine as we get older. So right now, just take a minute to relax. Legs nice and wide, butt muscles soft, breathing and letting go. And now we are moving into our final moves of this routine. You've done great. We're gonna stretch out and just mobilize the joints of the spine and the hips with some cat and cow and booty circles and whatever feels good to you. You don't have to follow my lead, just be loose and juicy through your spine, through your hips, and breathe. Now come to a neutral position. Spine is flat like a tabletop, and make sure that your core is really strong. Pelvic floor lifted, low abs pulled in, and your right leg is straight back behind you, straight back behind you. Now you're going to do rainbow legs. So you're sweeping your foot and tapping to one side of your yoga mat and then the other. So lifting up and over a rainbow tap, and then up and over the rainbow tap the other way. So you're crossing your body and then crossing outward. Same exact thing, but try it from your elbows. It's just a different position. You're doing a rainbow behind you, drawing a rainbow on the wall, tapping to the outside and then crossing your body to the inside. Keeping your core strong the whole time. Try to make it so that the only thing moving is your leg. Now, we're going to go to the other side, but let's take a minute to just take a breath, soften everything, maybe go into child's pose for just a moment, relax and breathe. Your butt muscles have been working hard. So take a breath, and then we're going to go into the other side. So you're coming into a neutral spine position after a couple of cat and cows. So cat and cow, booty circles, whatever it may be. And then when you find your neutral spine position, I want you to feel in your neutral position that your back is flat like a tabletop and you're lifting your pelvic floor, pulling in your low, low belly. And bring that left leg now straight back behind you, straight back behind you. From here, you're going to do the big rainbow sweeps. 4 times or so with that strong, strong core. You're going to do it from your hands and knees, and then you're going to go down onto your elbows. So this is 2 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 and 4. Now come down onto your elbows and keep going. You're crossing your body and then going out to the side. Crossing your body, going out, drawing a rainbow on the wall behind you, and breathing. Nice job. Bring the knees together. And again, just like before, I want you to just take a breath, exhale all your air out, and sit back into child's pose. Now, this next part is really important. We are not done, and I want you to keep staying and keep watching, even though I'm going to show you an option. For those of you who know headstand and have this in your practice already, you can join me for headstand. Now, if you're like, no way, Bree, that's totally fine. Stay in child's pose because we're not done with the workout. But if you feel that you wanted to join me for a quick little headstand because it's already in your practice, just know that I do headstand partially because it's such a great shoulder strengthener and it's a great low ab strengthener. I do it close to a wall so that I have safety and I have security. And just know that this is really working your shoulders and your core. It's also so good for just keeping yourself challenged as you get older. Headstand really should put very little weight on your neck at all. So it's really not bad for your neck if you're doing it correctly. Now, again, that was just optional. So if you were in child's pose that whole time, stay there because I'm joining you now. If you were in headstand, go back to child's pose and we all meet together in child's pose. The next move we're going to do, so important, is our final stretch and relaxation pose, which is not a throwaway exercise. It is hips up time. So you're going to bring your hips up. Place a yoga block or a small pillow under the back of your pelvis. With this position, your pelvic floor muscles get to totally relax. All the pressure is off your pelvic floor. Your pelvic floor muscles, or pelvic organs, I should say, are repositioning. Everything is coming back into great alignment. You're reducing pressure on your pelvic floor. You're rejuvenating your adrenal glands. It's such a relaxing and refreshing and rejuvenating pose for anybody. And I highly recommend doing hips up time after any workout, even if you don't have pelvic floor issues. It's still a really healthy move for your body, great for your circulation of blood and lymph. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you really enjoyed this workout. And I do have another video that is going to be coming out soon. If it's not already out, look for the link in the video description. It's a video with tips for perimenopause and just my thoughts on perimenopause. So all of the links that you will need are in the video description and also more ways that we can work together. So until next time, remember to eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter at this age and every age into the future.